the deepest.
Welcome back. We're live on Split the Defense, Leafs post-game, presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. Jordan Webster here with Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans in the booth. Game 67, win number 40. Leafs tame the Wolf. Boy, did the Leafs need this win, CP. Why did it feel like the Leafs needed this win so bad?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it did. I think a lot of it was just a lot of overreaction. It's overreaction season. But I mean, probably one of their worst slides in, as far as I can remember. So it's not like totally unwarranted, but I just feel like the biggest problem is the unexcitement with the team. And so like when people get bored with the team, they get extra mad. And so that's kind of incorporated in this little bit of a slow stint going on. But I mean, how nice is it though to have 6 goals? Was it 6? I think we got 6.
Oh,
yeah. Oh man.
6.
6.
Yeah, and it should have been 6-1. They kind of fell asleep there. Third period was a fuck around time. Besides a little bit of Benoit action, we'll get into all that. But yeah, 6 goals was nice to be put up on the board tonight. Absolutely put up on the board. Was it not nice to see the third line that is so back scoring goals in bunches again? Now I know it's a shitty team like Calgary, shitty
not
fringe.
Shitty.
They're a fringe team.
Yeah.
Like Calgary. They're not, they're not one of the top teams in the league. But God, that third line looks good together, don't they? Domi scores first. He gets an assist on the Nicky Bobby goal. And, Nicky Bobby, we'll talk about his penalties after, but he totally redeems himself with the 3-1 goal. You cannot sit this kid. You cannot sit this kid with the lack of scoring on this team. He's perfect on the third line. Those guys, when they're going, they're going. Eh?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like the problem is we kind of have too many guys that I think could fit into a lineup, and Nick Robertson was the easy one to just scratch, but he's just, I don't think you can have a lineup without him. He's not like, I'm not making him out to be like Austin Matthews here, but I just think that what he's done to improve, I think he's checked all the boxes, and you can just tell that he can, he can light the lamp. So I think it's impossible not to have him in the lineup, especially when like depth scoring has just always been the talking point for this team. You finally have a kid who can pot one and has an elite shot. And and it's just about finding him the home. It's crazy to think that after all of that trade deadline madness and all year we set in stone, we were getting a third line center, and it's just might be Domi. We're just going with Domi. That's what we're doing. Like, that's the part where it just shocks me, man. It's just like,
I want to get into the Laughton thing, but I want to stick on Nicky Bobby here. I do.
Yeah.
So
it's not about Laughton, though. It's just like the third line that we've been like watching for a long time. It's just like, is this just what is the best thing for this team?
It honestly kind of feels like a mistake, but let's get there. I want to talk about he takes 2 penalties tonight. Takes a high stick for one of them.
Oh.
That's not good. That's the second penalty.
Yeah.
The first penalty he takes, he fires a puck well after the whistle. Just fires it. I don't know whether it was on goal or just into the other end. But absolutely you can't do that. I don't think. David Alter, who follows the team, beat writer for the Hockey News, or I think this was the Complete Hockey News or something like that. He says, okay, Nick Robertson shouldn't have done that, but that's not a penalty. I think, what the hell was he thinking? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's not a penalty part is like that's where unsportsmanlike is very broad. So, I mean, if it's well after the whistle, I mean, I think it does fall under that category. I mean, I don't know. It looks like from his facial expression that he whips his head up to the linesman or whoever blew the whistle. But like, I don't know, you can also fake that. So I'm not sure what to make of it. But at the end of the day, like that's not something you can do in the playoffs. So and like you don't want to do
It's
that
not
either.
something you can do ever.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
like,
basketball. You can't just shoot the puck after.
yeah, but I also don't care. Like it didn't upset me tonight. You know, that's a penalty that upsets me in the playoffs. You know, same with the other one too. The other one's almost worse to me. It's just like being very irresponsible with your stick. You're like the
I
way that he
rode up the other
flung
guy's
it.
stick, and
Yeah, but he
I
flings it
don't
with
know.
one hand. You're in the other, like you're 200 feet from your own end, and you just like fling your stick.
Stick
Like
checking.
that was not a
I
stick
mean,
check.
he's not a big guy. Like he's, he was trying to stick check, and it rode up the other guy's stick, hits him in the face. That's more excusable than what a bonehead fucking move of firing it down clearly like 4 seconds after the whistle blew. Like I'd
Yeah.
have to say, if any penalty that he took tonight was egregious, it was the one where he fired it clearly when everybody had stopped playing. The goalie was probably sipping his water bottle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that it's not a penalty. I'm just saying that the second one bothered me more for sure.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't even know. Poofed. Poofed. If he just did that one, we wouldn't be talking about it unless they scored on it. But they almost did score on it. Thankfully, the Leafs have the best video team in the league. So Frost ties it up on the second Nicky Bobby penalty. But, Jordan Bean, once again, coming to the rescue. Honestly, the second they challenged it, I have so much confidence in this video crew that I was like, yeah, it was offside. They wouldn't fuck around. They don't fuck around. Like they never lose. It's how many losses have we seen from that video team in the last like 5 years that you can count? Like
What?
They're on point, and you agreed with me pretty much right away. So I know you're on the same page as me.
Yeah, they have one that they lost just like not that long ago, like 2 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, one. I do remember that one.
Yeah. Other than
Out of
that,
how
though,
many?
yeah, I think they had a perfect record last year. So I mean, yeah, they're so on point. I was as confident as you. I get it. The longer it takes, though, the more it comes down to like the possibility that it's not clear enough. So I got pretty nervous, like because I threw out in all the group chats that I was pretty confident that it was coming back. No goal, I said. But
They
yeah,
never show us the angles that they actually see.
yeah, but when it takes that long, they're watching those angles like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So like at that point, if they've called it a goal, that's where it's hard to pull a goal back when it's not clear. So yeah, that's where I just get nervous. Not that it's not the right call. But even when watching it, it's such a weird, I felt like it was like a, what are those games where like you can see multiple things at the same time? Because like I watched it the first time and it looked like the puck was going straight up in the air. And then I was like, oh no. And then like I watched it the second time and it's like, no, that's going away from me. Watch it a third time. I was like, wait, no, I'm pretty sure that's going up in the air again. So like I was so confused watching it. I was just like, I don't know. That's a
Yeah,
tough
the
one.
depth perception. Yeah, it's kind of tough. Kind of tough over the angles that we had. But either way, they got it right once again, called it back, and I think we may be speaking differently right now had that have went in and the game ended up differently. But it didn't. They ended up scoring 6 goals in the end, and all was well. Nicky Bobby, either way, whether he takes a couple stupid penalties or he's a little bit of a liability here and there, I think that what he brings to the team, you have to count him in for the playoffs. I think that they didn't add enough as far as scoring at the deadline to negate him being in this lineup. He's got to be there. There's enough guys who do what Scott Laughton do, I feel like, at least from what he's shown us here at the Leafs.
Yeah, like I'm not sure that he's the guy that you scratch, but as far as like Nicky Bobby goes, like I think as long as he just doesn't take those stupid penalties, because like those can be detrimental in the playoffs. So like I agree 100% with you that like
do you think he'd do that
proven.
stupid shit in the playoffs though? I feel like this was a fuck around night in March.
I don't know. He's trying to make a lineup in that's where I think when he's trying too hard is where he gets ahead of himself. I need him to play confident and with a head on his shoulders, you know. And I actually
It's a good
saw that
point.
throughout the end of the game. Like he's making, instead of just wiring shots, like he's making like shots for rebounds. And like I thought that as his confidence, like he scores a goal and just instantly gets his confidence back. So I thought like those were early game problems that he kind of sorted out. And I just loved him and Domi, just looked like they were twins. Like they knew exactly what each other were thinking. Bobby McMahon was a little bit of the odd man out, but you know, like you just always have to
But
have
he
that
gets
guy
off
that's
the schneid
chasing
tonight.
pucks. Yeah, yeah, and he had a little bit of a, you know, it's a squeaker of a goal, but yeah, it was
They don't ask how, then ask how many.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah,
18th of the year, by the way.
I just can't get over the fact that like this line, not just the third line, but like after like the when we lost 6 and 7 or something like that, just on a terrible drought, everybody's turning on them, and then they come out with just a banger of a game. Like it's crazy, and a lineup that everybody kind of hates. Everybody wanted to see a mix up of the line and then them hit it off. And so yeah, it's
Yeah,
so Leafs tonight to just come out and have a 6-2 game where everybody was doubting them.
I agree. So I've written this down. I've written this down several times over the last few games, and we haven't done shows for various reasons. But Riley needs to shoot. Somebody needs to mail that to him and just say,
So
"Bro,
you're gonna say go.
just shoot.
Yeah.
Just shoot. Think shoot. Don't think pass." There's been so many opportunities. There was a great push by the Leafs at the end of the first tonight. They could have made it 2-0, and Riley makes a pass when Wolf is on his side recovering. He should have tossed it on net. It ends up going the other way in that sequence, and Rasmus Anderson, a defenseman, scores because, you know, he shoots.
He's good.
But Riley really needs to shoot. And I've written it down. I haven't brought it up because I don't want to harp on him too bad. And we know that's who Riley is a little bit, and there's really no story there. But I feel like it's becoming a story. Like, Riley is not aggressive enough at all. He is not the guy that we need here for $7.5 million. I don't see it anymore.
I'm not sure it's that he's not aggressive enough. Like maybe, but like
Offensively, like I don't
just
know.
don't think
Maybe
he's
if he was
good
like
enough.
super dope defensively, but like he's not that either.
I know, but like I've seen him like try and push play and like try and make like, you know, breakout passes, stretch passes. Then like I don't know, man. He just doesn't
But
really
exactly,
have much.
passes,
He's
CP, passes, shoot it on the net.
no, but
Shoot
I'm
it
saying
on the
like even
net
on
when
his
you're in
like
the end.
breakout though.
Like the
Even
open opportunity he had tonight, and he passed it out front to Nylander. Nylander got a wicked opportunity, but Wolf had already recovered. Like, you know,
I
like
mean,
make
it's not
something
even shooting
happen.
though, man. He's just not very good. Like that's what I'm saying. It's not
Oh
even just in his
no.
own end. It's like and
Oh
it's like it's
no.
just starting in his own end. It's tough for him these days. So I don't know, man.
It's
I'm
just not
still
very good.
banking. Oh,
It's
sorry,
not
but
good
like it's just
CP.
how I feel. I'm still
It's
banking a
bad.
little bit that he's gonna like, you know, there's another gear for him in the playoffs. He's proven it every single year. And I hope that he still does. Last year I hated his play around this time of year too. But then like he proved me wrong last year. He was one of the players that showed up. So I just like I don't know. I am kind of hoping on that a little bit. Some veteran players that, especially ones that have been here for a long, like get a little bit of grace. Like someone like Domi, like you know, or you know, Domi's not a good example because he is a playoff player. But like someone like
He's been
Yarn
dope the last
Croak,
couple of games, to be
yeah,
honest.
Yarncroke or Holmberg or something like that. Like they don't get the grace that someone like Riley does. But like, man, I hate a lot of his games.
Yeah, because playoff Riley's sick. You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
he does come with
I
like
forget about that
a lot of
sometimes.
grit in his
We
game,
we get so few playoff games that like you forget how dope playoff Riley is.
for sure. Yeah, I agree.
But you know what was super dope tonight? I wrote down Matthews looks like he has a little more oomph tonight.
Yeah.
And the Leafs power play 3 for 3. So Willie on the power play makes it 2-1. And then
Oh, beautiful shot.
Matthews
Oh,
goes
no.
on a tear. Willie gets an assist on Austin Matthews' power play goal. And with that, he gets 598 points in his career. And he's moved past Frank Mahovlich for sole possession of ninth on the Maple Leafs all-time points register.
Nice.
Nice little stat there.
Yep.
Anyways, Matthews makes it 4-1 on the power play. And then before you can write that down, and it's 5-1 on the next power play. I don't even know how they got that power play. I was still trying to write down from the first one and get all this stuff
Might
uploaded.
have been too many
Like,
minutes.
oh, they got another power play. Here, and it's in the back of the net. You know what? All Austin Matthews struggles, all everything he's been through, all the shit we've given him, he's still Austin Matthews. Deep down in there, in the moment, he's still Austin Matthews. He potted a couple of beautiful goals tonight. Goals that not everybody in the league can just pot. It was certainly a genuine Austin Matthews night, more than we've seen. And I hesitate to say that because it wasn't full beast mode Matthews that we've seen in the past, but it certainly looked more like the captain of this Toronto Maple Leafs that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, you could tell from puck drop that he had a little extra in him tonight. And so like he's a guy, and I like, as a star player, there's just no doubt about it that he has like multiple gears to his game, you know? And like, I think we saw gear 2 tonight. There's still a little bit more, like you said, like that's not like complete takeover a game Austin Matthews, but you know, it's definitely better than what we've been seeing. And I like all 3 points that he gets tonight are on the power play. And so like, if he's just going to be a shut down 5-on-5 guy and then just a merchant on the power play, that'd be all right. But
Yeah,
our power
as
play
long
is
as he
just
can
something.
merchant on the power play, but that usually gets shut
Exactly.
down in the postseason.
Yeah. So like, I was hoping for like a little bit of 5-on-5 dominance offensively, get 5-on-5, but you know, you can't, beggars can't be choosers. I'm going to take
You're
any
right.
type of, Matthews production that I can get. So it very clear though. He had a gear and it was great to see. Even Willie, I thought like
Even
stepped it up
five
into
on
another
five, he
game.
had quite a few opportunities tonight where he looked dominant. And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's not kid ourselves here. Dustin Wolf got 6 let in on him, but he's not a joke of a goaltender.
No,
He's
no.
one hell of a goaltender. He through the first, there was all Dustin Wolf all over the broadcast. That's all they were talking about. He is spectacular, and Austin could have had a couple 5-on-5 if it wasn't for that pesky kids.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy with Post Malone on his helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He did have a good game. Like, even 5-on-5. I just like wanted some points from it just because that's what the team's lacking, you know. Like, I guess that's why we have Robertson. You know, we gotta have Robertson on the ice so we can score 5-on-5. Matthews can take care of the power play.
Well, he's got to score 5-on-5 because it's all he plays.
Yeah, that's right. Willie though, Willie, I thought, he had just as quite of like the gear step up as Matthews did. So um and Marner as well, I guess, but whichever way you want to go with it.
I guess like it's funny because like I always expect so much more from everybody else, but like somewhere along the lines, I think Willie just pissed me off so many times that I just accepted Willie as Willie.
That's funny.
Is that kind of not the way? Like we bitch about him a little bit, but like we leave off him the most because we're just kind of like when he's fucking around, we're like, fucking Willie. Like, yeah, he's got to get it back together. Yeah, he will. He always does. But like, fucking Willie. Like, we never really make a story out of it. And it's just kind of like we're a lot harder on the other two. But like, Willie's been, he's the second best goal scorer in the league this year. Haven't barely talked about him at all because we're just like, yeah, Willie's dope. We know. And then when he's bad, we're just like, yeah, Willie fucks around sometimes. We know.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. I mean, you get to know a guy, and if he's that consistent, you just get to expect what you get from
Consistently
him.
inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah. And like, but another guy who shows up in the playoffs, I think that's what this whole team revolves around. You can fuck around in the regular season as long as you're one of those guys that we know puts it all on the line when it counts, and I just think that that's been Marner's biggest detriment. I think everyone would love him if he was the reverse. If he didn't do fuck all in the regular season, but he came and he was a point leader and everything. Everyone would love him. It's like that's the whole story of this entire team. Like we would love you guys if you played like you did in the regular season in the playoffs. We'd be planning where to put your statues, but can't do it. So I don't know.
Speaking of players who play with their heart and soul, we started talking earlier about Scott Laughton, acquired by the Leafs for a first-round pick and Nikita Grabenkin, not Fraser Minton, as many of you would like to confuse that with.
Yeah.
But in no world was Scott Laughton brought here to be the fourth-line center. So what the fuck is going on here?
I think it's a part of this is the exact example of this entire team. But we got chasing something big and flashy. And this organization wanted to bring Rantanen in.
What do you mean we? Don't lump me into this.
Okay.
I didn't want Laughton.
This team wanted Rantanen. That's what they wanted. They spent all of their time and energy on
Shohei Ohtani.
Bringing the number one guy in here. And then when they thought they were the number two, they're doing negotiations, and then they just end up not picking our, draft picks and Minton or whatever it ended up being that they offered them. But and then you had to go and get whatever was left. You're just left with a scrap heap. And then you have to overpay for a guy that doesn't really fit in. And so Laughton probably ends up playing left wing on the second line. That's kind of where I see him.
That would be better than fourth line center for a first round pick and forecheck, back check, paycheck.
I think he also has more experience, scoring. I think that
I know the kid couldn't skate, but we give Nikita Grabenkin 1 year with Barb Underhill, and he performs better than Scott Laughton has here for the last 3 games. Now, I'd just like to know, do you watch Scott Laughton? Have you watched Scott Laughton? Do you know, there's got to be more to his game, right? He's gonna get better with time, right?
Yeah. This isn't the Scott Laughton that I'm used to watching. He's a little bit scrappier. He's pretty fast and quick. He moves the puck up and down the ice. He gets into corners. He is a guy that I like. He's not the guy that we should have gotten for our third line center. He's just not. He isn't that guy. We got another hybrid guy who's better on the wing. And so I think he would excel if you tried him in a different position. It's just, I think they're a little locked into this at the moment. I think Kampf, Holmberg, and Lorentz is a great fourth line, and it bumps Laughton up to the second line. It is what it is. Holmberg's,
I don't hate that either.
Yeah, Holmberg's not a perfect second line player. It's not like we're taking Matthew Nyes and putting him on the fourth line here. So I think that's where this ends up. I guess we'll see. I'm not against, having Laughton down there too, but I think that Kampf needs to be in the lineup, doesn't he? I don't know. It seems kind of crazy that he's not playing.
$2.5 million aside, what Kampf brings to the lineup, I do believe he should be here. But did he become rendered kind of useless, and they didn't realize that until after with this Laughton thing?
I guess if that's the position you're putting him
in. Because if Laughton is good, what's he good for? PK and defensive. Well, if we're not going to get that offensive thing, we want those extra time with the, clearly Laughton's not horribly defensive. One off his leg tonight. That sucks. Shit happens to everybody. But he's not bad defensively. So you want him for the PK. You want him for the last couple of minutes of the game and with a lead, Is that not what you want Kampf for too? Are they not kind of the same, doing the same thing? Maybe they're not the same player. Maybe there's more of an upside to Laughton, but are they not kind of fulfilling the same role on this team?
I mean, to me, they're not. I feel like Laughton and Yarncroke fill a more similar role than They're like a little bit of a
What
different
role does
identity.
Yarncroke fill? He's played like 4 games. We don't even know. Like, I mean, he's been. We know what he does in the past, but like, are you basing all your knowledge off of that, or what we've seen the last, half dozen games since he's been back?
Like what you know of Yarncroke, like where you think you're gonna
Okay.
slot him in the lineup. Like you're comfortable with him on a wing, or you're comfortable in like in a depth center role, but like he's not gonna excel at a center role. If you want the best out of a player, you have to put him on the wing. And Camp isn't that. I think he's a true centerman, and I think
He's a
it's
center.
weird to kind of have him not in. Lawton does take up a lot of the PK time. Like I think he's a better PKer than Camp is, just based on speed. But like Camp, I think I've liked him on the fourth liner like this year, especially with Lawrence and him have just been kind of like the fourth line guaranteed guys.
So pretty much, you move Lawton up to the second left wing, and all the problems are solved. That's what you're saying. If
Other
you
than
were
scratching
coach,
Yarncroke, Yarncroke, Holmberg, one of them is scratched, or if we're putting Nick Robertson in this, if this third line is going to stick, that's where I mean, like Holmberg, Yarncroke, and Lawrence and Lawton, like they're all kind of the same guy. They're just like different identities of the same, player.
not
So like,
really though. I
I mean, like
guess
they're
kind
all
of,
like
not
bottom
really.
six wingers. Like
Holmberg is sneaky valuable though. Holmberg is so sneaky valuable. Like, he's not an elite puck retriever, but he's a pretty good puck retriever. He also works pretty good with William Nylander. Like, those two have a bit of chemistry. They work well together. He's also really good at drawing penalties. So like, I kind of put Holmberg maybe a little bit above that, and I kind of see why he's been playing more in the top 6.
Yeah, I think like Yarncroke is like what I want him to be. I think is above, but as current players that we're seeing, I would agree. I think Holmberg is the above them. I like other than like Bobby McMahon is better than all of these guys, all these chumps when he's playing in his best game.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah,
um,
we agree.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Bobby ends up on the second line again because that's where he belongs and shouldn't have been taken off of to begin with. So.
Did you see in the third period? Well, the third period was all fuck around, so I don't blame you if you didn't really zone in so much to that portion
I
of the
took my
game. But
dog out
there
at
was a
the 4 minute mark.
long pause. And
Yeah.
it's like, what's going on here? What is going on here? And that's because Simon Benoit
Oh,
didn't
the
take
review.
no shit from
Yeah.
former Leaf legend Dryden Hunt. You remember that guy?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he had a
mauled
cup
the
of
guy.
coffee here.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
cup of coffee, yeah.
yeah. Anyways, do you think that Benoit acted appropriately, or do you think that's another thing that, like, I I love it. Okay, I'm just gonna
Mm.
start by this. I love it, but is it over the line? I don't know. I'm asking. Is what he's been lately, trying to stay in the lineup, the aggressiveness, the willingness to take these penalties he's been taking a lot,
Mm.
is that too much from Simon Benoit?
I mean, tonight I loved it. It all depends what the score is. Like, that's not a something I mean, it was a total wires cross moment, though. Like, he thought that that Hunt tried to get him up top, and so he went after him. Like, whoa, and did he
Yeah, he didn't care anymore.
No, he just like, yeah, wires crossed, saw red, and he went after him. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I love Simon Benoit when he is playing at his most intense, and his like dirtiest, his roughest. So I think that's the key thing that keeps him in the lineup. He's not good enough to not bring those things. He just has to keep it under control and not get too many penalties. So yeah, I don't know. I almost when I first
So
saw that,
verdict is not too much.
not too much. That's my verdict. Yeah. Actually, initially when I saw the hit, I was like, "Oh God, we're gonna see Philip Myers because Simon Benoit just got suspended." But after watching it, I thought the cross check went to the head, but no, it's like clearly on
Well
the
earned.
ground. Yeah. So
Yeah, well earned. So let's do our little Twitter thing here. The Leafs finished the season 5-0-1 on Amazon Prime. That was the last time the Leafs play on Amazon Prime this season.
I love the
And
Amazon Prime games, by the way.
you know, I don't hate them. I don't. You know what's a cool fact? Adnan Vert Adnan Verk. He's from Odessa, or Morven, I guess. But he's a local boy.
Okay.
So shout out to Adnan Verk, host on Amazon Prime Hockey Nights.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. I did know that. I did know that. Yes.
Yeah, stud. What a stud.
Yeah.
I just like Max Domi.
I just like the feed just because it seems way clearer on my TV. Like, I'm not sure if it's just because my cable sucks, but yeah, when I watch it, but it's still watching through my cable provider. So I don't know. Either way, it's just way clearer. So,
well, I kind of like the beginning of the broadcast. I think that's kind of a cool feature where you just get to watch the ice. And I like our normal commentators. I don't love them. It seems to be the radio gets the best commentators.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
For several teams, especially the couple that we follow. But I do like to see a little bit of a switch up, and that was kind of nice tonight. It felt there was a few times where they said things where I'm like, well, that's okay.
Not true.
But it's not what happened. Like the one point, okay, he doesn't touch it at the line. I'm like, or Callie Arncroke, he misses it at the line. No, he didn't. He chipped it in. Like he deflected it in. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to dump it, but he was behind the line, so he just dumped it, tapped it. So now it's
I gotta say that's me during every hockey game ever, no matter who the announcer is. I'm like, no, he lost. No, like not even angrily, just little things.
You're
I'm
wrong.
like yeah, exactly. I just love arguing what they say. Like, oh, that was a nice pass. Like, it was a shitty pass.
I also did that. Yes. Yeah.
There was little stuff, but there was a lot of cool differences tonight, little facts, little things, tidbits that they dropped in of information that I enjoyed as a viewer. So I did enjoy the Amazon broadcast, but that's the last one of the season. Now Jesse Blake, which I lost here, has a quote from Max Domi, and I can't find it here, but it basically says that he's the best player in the league. He loves playing with him. He's my favorite player to watch, favorite player to play with, best player in the world. Max Domi.
Who said that about
That's what Max Domi said about Austin Matthews.
Oh.
Loving playing with Austin Matthews a little bit, eh? But got knocked back down to that third line, somehow scored a couple of goals. I wonder how that works, it's funny because you want to perform to get bumped up, but then you get put in the right spot and you perform and it's like, well, we're going to keep you here because.
Yeah. Shouldn't he love playing with Nick Robertson? Because that's where he's playing the best hockey. So.
I know.
Yeah.
But still one hell of a quote.
Yep.
All right. What do we got next up here? Who do the Leafs take on next? The Avalanche.
Yeah. We play Colorado.
So we play Colorado again. That was fun. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Ted, are you gone again? I hope he's gone again.
Wednesday, I will be here.
Hey, let's all do Leafs post-mortem.
Yeah.
They better win. I can't handle that. I cannot handle that.
We'll get a rematch. It's they were fresh teams. We were a little more jazzed because we were so many additions. We had to win that game. We had to. But now you guys are settled in a little more. Got that big win on Calgary tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. We'll see. Yeah. I know we beat Calgary
more
though.
Confident.
I think we beat them 7-1. So.
He's fucking with us, isn't he?
A bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
The nice thing is that Colorado is always a good test. Whether it's just playing against Nathan McKinnon is a good test on any night, whatever version of Colorado you find. So, yeah, it'll be good to see. I mean, I think this is where Matthews has to put the new identity into practice. Shut him down 5-on-5 and then pot a couple in power play. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, Matthews versus McKinnon. That's definitely going to happen. Shut him down.
Long.
That should work well. That should work great. We will be back after that game on Wednesday against the Avalanche, hopefully with good news. Until then, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on Split the Defense Leafs post game, presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding areas since 2004. If you haven't already, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you about the game, about us. Tell me I'm an idiot. I love that too. Hit that like button on your way out of here. Subscribe to our YouTube. And don't forget to come back, you bunch of jerks. See you later.
Bye.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.